So just hours before the president landed, President Putin slammed U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry over his testimony on the civil war in Syria. The Russian strongman calling Kerry a liar. Watch this.
I've watched debates in Congress. The congressman asked Mr. Kerry, is there al-Qaeda? People say they've gotten stronger. He says no. I say officially, they aren't there. The main combat unit, the so-called al-Nusra, is a unit of al-Qaeda. They know about this. It was not pleasant for me to see this. Well, we communicate with them and assume that they are decent people. He lies openly, and he knows that he lies. This is sad.
Wow. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry, North Lawn there, starts our coverage. Ed, good morning to you. You wonder how comfortable or not it will be for the president today. Is the White House reacting to Putin's accusation that we just heard there?
They are. What Putin is trying to do is suggest, raise doubts about whether the Assad regime, which he's close to, really was behind that awful chemical weapons attack on August 21st. And he's raising doubts about al-Qaeda elements in the rebel groups, and maybe the rebels actually would be behind that chemical weapons attack. The White House is responding this morning by saying, look, they believe there are moderate elements of the Syrian rebels, the Syrian Free Army, etc., and they think Putin is just flat out wrong here. So you're right. It's going to get awkward. Think back to June. President's already arrived there in Russia now. He's going to meet him on the sidelines, Putin. Back in June, when we were at the G8 summit in Europe. Bottom line is Putin spent more time looking at his shoes than at President Obama, it seemed, from some of the photos, at least in the body language. They're fighting not just about Syria, about the Edward Snowden controversy. And all of this is playing out as the president's on the world stage. And you have Republicans like the former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld charging that with the president yesterday at this news conference in Sweden saying it wasn't his red line, it's not his credibility on the line, that he now looks weak. Take a listen.
This president has tried to find a way to blame everybody or anybody for everything. And leadership requires that you stand up, take a position, provide clarity, and take responsibility. And I can't imagine him saying that he didn't draw the red line. But he did draw the red line.
Now, for his part, the president said at the news conference yesterday he's still hopeful to make some progress with Putin, but obviously a lot of questions about that so-called reset in Russian relations that have not exactly worked out the way the White House wanted to.
So many years later, too, after that happened. Ed, now the president's dealing with revelations, the NSA program in Russia as well. You imagine this would come up possibly, too, there.
Absolutely. There are two leaders at the G20 summit, the leaders of Mexico and Brazil, who there have been allegations in recent days that they were among the people the U.S. was eavesdropping on. President Peña Nieto of Mexico, President Rousseff of Brazil. The president defended the NSA surveillance programs, though, yesterday while he was in Sweden. Take a listen.
I can give assurances to the publics in Europe and around the world that we're not going around snooping at people's emails or listening to their phone calls. What we try to do is to target very specifically areas of concern.
Bottom line point, the president wanted to be talking now about the economy, immigration reform, other domestic legacy items. Instead, he's talking about the NSA, Syria, all of those issues. Very uncertain fate as to whether this resolution is even going to pass in the House and Senate bill.
Very good point there. Headlines coming out of St. Petersburg, too, when we get them. Ed, thank you. Ed Henry leads our coverage there at the White House. Martha.
All right.